Hi, I'm Jim Vogel of the BioProcess Institute, and welcome to Between Two Ferrules in the Back Lab. Today is our inaugural edition of the show, and I'd like to start off the series with our own Kristen Riley. So she'll be joining us here to talk about her experiences here at the BioProcess Institute. Welcome, Kristen.
Hello, Jim. Nice to see you.
Nice
and
seeing
be with
you.
you today.
Welcome.
Thank you.
So tell us a little bit about your role here at the BioProcess Institute.
So, a day in the life is many different things. The day starts out maybe with one assignment, and it may change throughout the day. Most of the assignments are project driven, so we probably manage about 6 or so projects in a week. We will do some small in-house projects mixed with client projects. They tend to be all testing, and it is mostly fitness for use testing for end users and or suppliers.
The types of tests that you do you do things that are done here in the facility in the BioProcess Institute, or do you coordinate things with some other partners?
So most of the tests, 50% at least, are done here at BPI. Those tests can be component driven, and they're done and set up here, designed by us, and run by us here. Another quarter of them might be outside, so done with consultants, a network of testing labs, which might be some of the class 6 testing. And then another group of them may be also for physical testing, where we'll actually go to a location and perform the test or the analysis with that
So things
testing
like
facility.
scanning electron microscope or
Yes,
something
we have
like
a network of labs and locations that we work with. And
that. Okay. As far as the client base, what types of clients do we work with here at the BioProcess Institute?
we have 50% suppliers and about 50% end users. So the end users that make the biopharmaceutical drug and need the component, as well as the ones who supply the components to make it. Mm-hmm. So we tend to do 50-50 suppliers and end users.
What are some of the things that you're seeing in the tests that you're doing? Can you share with us any experience that you've had in some recent tests or things?
Yes, I can indeed do that. So one of our most popular projects to date has been the BioProcess Performance Reports. It's a consumer reports-like product. We've offered this service since about 5 years ago, and we provide this to end users and suppliers of components like gaskets and diaphragms, and also we're moving into some single-use products such as connectors and tubing. And the most
So this is like a consumer reports for this?
Yes, it is, Jim. It's like a consumer reports where we will compare the service life of commercially available products in the marketplace. We'll source those products, purchase them, expose them to a series of tests, and then we'll assess them at points in time, similar to how you would see a car on a racetrack and the tires assessed. So yes, this is one of our most popular products. In addition to this, which is designed by us, we have many niche studies that we work with our clients to design and to conduct.
So this was originally intended for the end users, right? So they could use it to compare.
It was, Jim. But in addition to that, our suppliers have enjoyed it as well in order to describe how their components compare to others on the market.
So both can
have
purchase
purchased.
this.
Yes.
Exactly.
And then updates to it is what is most appealing because we have our finger on the pulse with what changes happen in the market. And we're making sure that we include those changes as well.
Okay, if you were able to direct the bioprocess industry, you'd be queen of the industry. What were some things that you would ask to happen?
That's a great question, Jim. I am not sure if I could answer that in a few moments today.
Perhaps maybe change the conditions in Appendix K in the BPI?
Yes, I think so. I think the quote, rules of the game, the regulations need to actually meet the service life applications. For example, what is most appropriate for testing? What types of performance assessments should be made? And I could go on and on about that, Jim, but we'll
Okay.
save that for another day.
Okay, very good. So what advice would you give a young person coming into the bioprocess industry? They're young, they're getting out of college, they're newly hired, or maybe they've been here a year or so. What advice would you give from the time you spent here?
Okay, so I would suggest that any young person should be sure to listen and make sure that they understand the actual problem or process that they are assigned to. So I would want them to understand that the quote process is king, and to understand what problem they are trying to solve before trying to find solutions. So seek first to understand, communicate with your team, and then work with that team to help solve the problems.
Okay. Can you tell us who are Allie and Brickley?
Yes, Allie and Brickley are two Russell Terriers who are half-sisters of mine, and they turn 3 and 5 this month.
Okay. And maybe sometime we'll have them on the show and we can show them off, too.
Absolutely. They grew up here and were cross-trained here, just like a lot of other interns have been. So absolutely, we'd love to have them back.
All right, well, thank you again, Kristen, for joining us. And again, welcome, and we'll hope to see you soon on the next edition of Between Two Ferrules in the Back Lab.
Thanks for having me.